Hello everyone, I want to demonstrate a trick on C# Windows Forms using EntityFramework and a trick from data source to create a simple CRUD, fast and tricky. Um, it's a really useful trick, which it was an old one, but always old is gold. And here I have a database, which I call it test2, and I have a table called people, which has different data types, and username, password, full name, and is enabled for my users. Here I have a Windows Form application with a folder called models. I want to add a new item, ADO.NET entity model. I want to call it main model, and I want to create a database from code first from database. In this method I want to continue. So same connection data as my database, I will enter here and connect to my database. If I have a OK connection, I can continue. Next, and here this will ask me which tables and views I want to use, and so proceed. All references for EntityFramework are automatically added to my project, and no need to download them using NuGet because it's offline available in Visual Studio by default. And here, because my table has an identity key, it will be added automatically to EntityFramework, and no extra tasks to do. So here I want to create the CRUD really fast on that database. I will come to data sources. If it is not available, you can search for data sources here in data sources, and this view other windows and data source, shift alt and D. So I will create a new object, but this will not load any object for me here because it will, I build it automatically. You must build, and then these classes will be available for you. Persons added here. So if I want to create a grid view with all options I want, just simply I can drag and drop the persons table here, and it will show the data inside for me. If I want to add some more data here, here's the username. I can call it, for example, admin. The password, admin. Full name, for example, here it is. And is enabled? Yes. User, for example. Also, and here it is. I have two rows and two rows for two objects of data. I will return back to my data sources. I want to show you how this works. So in my form load, I can add this. I can bind this binding source. So here is binding source. This binding source, the data source, is coming from my main model. So this main model is really important to be in root of my application. Maybe you can put it in program.cs or somewhere that you can use local cached data. So I can add db.people.toList to this grid view. And it will finally work for me. It will show the data, and I can have lots of different options here to work with this. I want to make it really more professional, so I can change to details. I can open it here. It's using a checkbox or anything I can have, and here, for example, it's a text box or anything. You can customize all those items, and ID must be a label. So if I drag and drop all those items here, it will be automatically added to my Windows Form project. The thing which is really important is to have a button for add, have a button for adding new, and another button for deleting, another button for delete, and the last one for save. So when you add a new one, you can save it, or when you update something, you can save it. Here I can disable all those items. And so what should I write for these items? These are automatically connected to the grid view, so when you select something, it will automatically bind all data inside the form. So for save, simply just write db.save changes, and if you want to refresh or something like that. But this is a bug, this is the problem, which it doesn't allow you to update or delete. So just you must change this to just cut and paste here. I don't want to fill something with this one, it's just a method, and I want to have db.people.local. It will make the data local for us, and this will use the local data. And here we are. We can reset the bindings of data source. For example, if I say person binding source that reset the bindings and allow the method change here in this way, and I can make them a different method. I want to call it my refresh, and I can use this my refresh after any save I will do. When I go for delete, just say my binding source binding that remove current, and simply for add new is as simple as say add new. Just with simple lines of code, with with having really few lines of code. Now I have total working CRUD operations. So at first I want to delete, for example, this user. It's done. After that we must save the changes. After delete we must save the changes. Remove the current, db.save changes, and again my refresh. So I can, for example, delete the user, and when I go to my database, if I refresh my data, you will see that the data is gone, and I can add a new one. So add a new record card, for example. Again, password is user2, and your username and password is user2, and it's enabled, for example. If I save it, will automatically give an ID, so I can refresh for it. And I can, for example, go to the admin and update the password to admin2 and save it, and it will work for me. Simply I have a CRUD right now. Hope you enjoyed.